As we lie down on the back to begin, just take your hands to connect to your belly. Whether your eyes are open, closed, or you're looking to the tip of your nose, just try to relax your gaze. The idea of moving in a slow flow is that we just take our time to get from one place to the next. And if anything, that is kind of what we're being presented with right now on a global level, to take our time, to go slow, and to also lean into this flow. And as yogis, we commit to a practice that asks us to take the path of least resistance. There is this element to the practice of surrender, and that element I would consider to be probably the essence of yoga. To lean into the flow, less resistance. And the more and more we practice yoga asana, the slower our transitions and movement become, the less effort we use. Because we're taking this time now to strengthen the body in a way that provides us with longevity. There is more surrender, there is less resistance. When you breathe, feel your belly rise all the way to the roof. Really, really big breath. And then let every last drop go. Just drop into the ground a little deeper. And do that 2 more times, as big as you can, breath. Dropping into the ground. Take your mind's eye to your spine. Begin at the very base. And like you're taking a tour through a brand new city, I want you to take that little tour up your spine until you eventually reach your neck. Just feeling the spaces of your spine that do connect to the ground, that don't. Any aches, any pains, any sensation, any information along the way. Staying curious. We feel less resistance when we take the time to move our body in the way that it was designed to move. And in the case of today's practice, our spine was designed to move 6 different ways. And so we'll use all 6 directions. And I hope that helps to free up any other tension that has been clenching in your body, any little knots. We begin to untie them. Beginning with your cervical spine, your neck, turn your chin over to your left shoulder. Feel the head drop heavy. Rotate your chin back through center, all the way over to your right shoulder, head heavy. Do that one more time, each direction, just rotating. The surrender in the skull, real heavy. When you do come through the center, go ahead and just stretch your arms slowly back. Take a big morning stretch and stretch your legs out in front of you. And as you do, you might like to lift your pelvis off the ground or your rib cage a little higher, feeling an extension of the spine. And then from there, pull your belly in closer to the ground, bring your knees to your chest and give yourself a nice big cuddle, wrapping yourself up. And from there, we'll just gently drop our body weight left and right a few times, rocking in side motion. And guys, we'll keep our knees in at the chest. But just relax your arms in either a cactus shape beside you or a T shape if you prefer. And then just gently drop your knees over to the left. Your gaze maybe to the right or just up to the sky. It's just a really subtle, gentle twist, no pressure. And take a breath in, see your belly expands. And then go ahead and press into the shoulders, come back through the center, bringing the knees to stack over the hips. And then just gently knees over to the right, gaze either sky or over to the left this time. No force. We should never have to force any of our yoga postures. The path of least resistance. And then just slowly come back through the center. Now bring our knees toward our armpits and then begin to flex your feet up toward the sky. Now you might like to just stay here or take a supported happy baby by grabbing the calves or grabbing the feet if the feet are in your reach. You can even grab behind the thighs if that feels a little better this morning, a little more accessible. I want you to feel the whole spine continue to be long on the ground, so a subtle tuck of the chin, a subtle push down of your tailbone. Taking a nice big breath, feeling the chest expand. And from here, go ahead and reach your legs all the way up to the sky. Let your arms relax beside your hips onto the ground. Begin to point your toes all the way to the roof, stretching down the front of the legs, down the front of the feet. Go the opposite way, flex your heels to the roof, your toes back to the shins, what we call dorsiflex. And the point plantar flexion, keep reaching the toes to the roof. And we'll do that a few times from dorsi to plantar. Feeling those different directions our feet move in, opening into the fascia, the connective tissue. And then from your pointing and your flexing, take some rotations, moving the ankles in some circles. One direction, and then going the opposite direction. And then scrunch and release the toes a few times, encouraging blood flow all the way down to the periphery. Then bring the knees back into your chest. Grab under the knees this time and begin to curl your chin in toward your chest, in toward the knees. Now guys, you might like to stay here, just feeling a nice flexion of the spine, really nice opening in the upper back, the low back. We can start to rock up and down the length of your spine if you prefer. You're not in any hurry, we're just moving slowly and gently. And you can roll off to one side or you can continue to roll up and down. We're going to meet in a seat. Now your seat, it might be cross-legged if that feels okay. You might like to sit on your pillow or your block or your book or on your knees. And we're going to reach across and have our strap just in front of us, just accessible. We'll begin by taking the arms up to the sky, taking another big stretch, feeling the spine neutral, the spine really tall, erect. And I want you to bend your elbows into a cactus shape. Then inhale at the top, and then just twist over to the left. Come up to the center, keep the core engaged. And then twist to the right, exhale. We'll do that 2 more times each side. Noticing the sensation throughout the spine, that this is not forced. But every time we twist, it slowly goes a little deeper. And we meet back through center once we've done our right side. We'll keep our arms in a cactus shape. And I just want you to gently bring your right elbow toward your right hip and just take a bit of a side lean here, a side bend. So I'm not using my hands to access the lateral flexion of the spine. Instead, my core is engaged and I've got this squeeze down the side of the body so the obliques are engaged, the side of your core. Come up to the center nice and slow, take a breath in. Now bring your left elbow toward your left hip and lateral flexion, so side bend to the left. And I get on those little cracks in the back today. I just got one, it was really good. Come back to the center. Take an inhale, we'll reach both arms up to the sky. Again, really neutral spine, feel the belly pull in. Then this one, I want you to take your right hand to rest onto the ground. Now stretch your left hand to the right knee. So it's a diagonal stretch. It's like the right top corner of your mat, while keeping the left sit bone grounded. You can look anywhere you want to look, whatever you want to do with your chin, your neck. The path of least resistance. And then stretch your left arm all the way up to the sky. Lift your chest to your thumb. Then take your left arm in a big circle all the way around behind you. Remember, we're moving nice and slow, no hurry. Come onto the left finger pads. Now lean into the left finger pads, reach your right arm to the sky. And just lean a little bit into that left hand. So now a diagonal backward. You could stay in the reach. You might flatten the left palm if you want to. You could even lift your hips off the ground if that feels okay. Holding 3. And then in super slow motion, we come back to the center as the hips drop back down to the ground, releasing the right hand to the floor. Bring your shoulders up to your ears, take a roll, take a shrug, and then drop the shoulders down the back. Go ahead and stretch your right arm to the sky, take a big breath in. Now begin to lean over to the left top corner of the mat, so it's a diagonal stretch, while keeping the right sit bone grounded, really anchored to the floor. Wherever your head goes is up to you. One more breath. And then begin to slowly reach your right arm up to the sky above your skull. Turning the palm out as we reach all the way back behind the right butt cheek. Either coming onto finger pads or flat palms, left arm stretches up to the sky. Now I'm going to stretch diagonally to the back of our mat, to the right back corner. Stay or go ahead and push the pelvis forward and then lift your hips off the floor. Like we're stretching up and out of our waist. Before slowly lowering the hips all the way back onto the yoga mat. The left arm all the way back down beside you. We'll take a Sufi circle, moving the spine in a circle around the pelvic bowl, doesn't matter what direction. And I want you to feel in these circles this morning that your whole body is just heavy. We're not trying to sit up tall, instead our body is really passive, quite a yin energy. Our arms floppy, our head even a little heavier. And then we're going to take our Sufi circles the opposite direction. Don't go too fast, you might get a little bit dizzy. We don't want that. In one more circle. When you do come back to the center, I want you to swap your ankles the other way if you're sitting cross-legged. And then take your hands onto your knees. Grip the knees like a lock and key and begin to lift your chest up to the roof. Lift your chin, take a deep breath in. Then roll your chin to your chest, lift your shoulders to your ears and lean back so your hips are right back. Slow motion, lift the chest up to the roof. Squeeze the shoulders back, chin up. Then roll all the way in, coming into spinal flexion. One more spinal roll. And all the way in. So it's just like our cat-cow from extension to flexion. And then as you come back through the center, guys, this one's a little bit different. We drop our chin to our chest. And then from now, once you start to lean forward with your skull, so much that your skull's nearly on the ground, as your butt begins to lift, look up to the sky, take a breath in. Then roll all the way back into the sit bones, drop your chin to your chest. Lead with the skull, lean forward, forward, forward. As the butt lifts, look up, inhale. Then roll all the way back, chin to chest. Do that 2 times. The head leads away. From the top of the skull down to the bottom. Nice easy roll. Once you get to flexion, hold here. Press your knees firmly into your hands. Pull your knees with your hands and see that nice big opening in the thoracic cage, the upper back. Holding 3. And then come back to neutral. Let's reach for our strap and come up and over onto our knees. Now guys, if you need to sit something under your bottom, just grab it now, we're in no hurry. So whatever you're using as a strap today, it does not matter. Just see if you can bring your hands at least shoulders width apart on the strap. Beautiful. And then just slowly we're going to lift the strap to eye height. And I want you to place tension on your strap, so pulling it in both directions. And then pull your chest forward at the same time so you start to get a little bit of an opening under your armpits. And then keeping your elbows straight, we lift it to about forehead height. Breathe. And then back to the top of the skull height. Keep the neck neutral, just above the skull slightly. And you just go in slight increments. Now if your elbows start to bend, pause. Otherwise, keep the elbows straight and let the shoulders elevate. I want you to feel that nice big opening around the armpits into the serratus. And do your subtle pull over to the right, keeping the tension on the strap. You need to bend your spine. Take 1 deep breath in, 1 breath out. Slowly come back through center, keep the core engaged. Tension on the strap, inhale. Now start to take the strap over to the left. Hold here, keep tension. Now lean the side of the body over to the left as well, so now the spine is curved. 1 breath. Nice, guys, come back through center. Keep the tension on the strap. So you can take your hands just a little bit wider if there's space on your strap, keeping the tension. And then I want you to push your chest as far forward as it will go, so there's extension of the spine. Option to look up if that feels okay, otherwise just keep looking forward. Breathe, 2. And then tuck the belly into the spine, roll the spine and ribs back, bring the strap back to eye height, and then all the way slowly down to the yoga mat. From our knees, let's take our hands into prayer, interlock the fingers, and then take your figure 8s, moving the hands together. And then take your figure 8s the opposite way. We're not going to be on our knees for too much longer. Take the hands forward, stretch into the fingers. I just want you to come up onto the knees. Lay your hands onto your hips. And then feel the tailbone lengthen down toward the heels. Move your hips over to the left, to the back, to the right, to the front. And then just do that 2 more times this direction. Just like your Sufi circles, it's just easy, no force. Go the opposite way. I really enjoyed teaching from home because I just tend to make up a lot of stuff. Because I'm literally sharing with you how I practice, which is just really random movement. It's my favorite thing to do. And then I want you to step your right foot out the side using lean into your left foot, no hurry, and then take the right toes to point to the front. Preparing our body for gate pose, we want a neutral pelvis, so feel the tailbone slightly pull down. Take your right hand onto your right thigh. Now keep grounding into the knife blade edge of your right foot. Take the left arm high, take a big breath in. We need to gently lean toward your right foot. Getting back to that lateral flexion of our spine. We use our foot for support, keeping it driving into the ground, and the left shin. Staying here for 1 deep breath in, and a deep breath out. Slowly reach your left arm up to the sky, then all the way down to the yoga mat, onto the finger pads, and then lift your right arm to the sky. Now you can be on flat palm, or you can stay on your finger pads here. I'm going to give you an option to stay where you are, or bring your right foot to your bum and reach down for your right foot with your right hand. If you're taking that option, just take a subtle kick into the hand so you feel a nice stretch into your pocket muscle, the TFL. Keeping the glutes active. We take an inhale through the nostrils. The big exhale. Without slingshotting your foot, I want you to pull the knee into the chest. Let go of the foot with your hand. Squeeze your belly to your spine. Bring your head toward your knee. Then look to the front of your mat. We're going to step our right foot there. And take the arms all the way forward and up. Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Awesome, guys. Take a deep breath in here. And then as you exhale, take the outside of your left hand to the outside of your right knee. The palm faces out. And just drop your gaze under the right armpit. And press the right knee into the left hand. Press the hand into the knee. And then keep reaching up with your right hand. Take a breath. And take a side bend, right hand over toward the left. While keeping that right knee pointed forward, try not to let it collapse. 2 deep breaths. And as we come back to the center, I want you to take your right hand for a big circle all the way around back behind you, finding your left butt cheek with your right hand. Left arm reaches up to the sky. Inhale, breath. Big exhale. Slow motion, reach the left hand forward. Take your torso with you. Forward, 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 reaching, reaching, reaching. And then take your left hand onto the yoga mat. Pick up the left knee, lift the bum a little higher. Now twist your chest over to the right. Lifting your right arm to the sky. Taking twisted dragonfly. A rotation of our spine. But the neutrality stays in our hips, lifting the left hip up and then drawing the right knee forward. You take a deep breath in. Then slow motion, I want you to drop your left knee back to the ground, but take it a little longer than what it was before. Keeping our pelvis nice and low, the right heel dropping in, begin to lift your left foot up. Now you might like to grab your strap again. We're going to start to reach our right hand back and grab a hold of our left foot from the pinky toe edge. But if the foot is not in your reach, the strap will be really handy here to place the strap in a loop around the foot. And then think of this as rotating the chest up to the sky as much as it is grabbing the back foot. We want to feel the lift of the heart, the wrapping of the left glute in. Just for 3. One more breath. If you have your back foot, let it go really gently. We're going to take our right hand all the way forward to the front of the yoga mat, placing the right hand to the inside of the right foot. Heel toe your right foot once over to the right. So now it's just a little bit wider than hips width. Bring your palms to the same plane as your right foot. Curl the back toes, then lift up your back knee. Step your back foot up about 10 centimeters and begin to straighten your front leg. You can rise onto the finger pads here or use blocks or books under your hands. We're going to take a fold into a wide-legged pyramid. So you can draw that right heel and the right big toe into the ground by sucking the thigh bone back and wrapping the left hip bone forward. Just for another 3. Beautiful, guys. We're going to take a halfway lift here. Keep the belly hugging in. And then I'm going to get you to fold a little bit deeper. Exhale. Take a halfway lift. Inhale. Fold in. Exhale. Halfway lift. Walk your hands a little further forward. Now lean your body weight into the hands. We're going to step our left foot as wide as our right foot is. And we're going to take a wide forward fold, bend the knees, grab the elbows. Keeping the toes parallel, the feet neutral. Take a bend in the knees and then scoop in the belly to protect your spine. Notice the knees want to collapse inward. Can you take a subtle push of your outer knees outward? Keeping our hips in a neutral position. And then just surrender your skull. And breathing nice and deeply. 3. And then releasing your hands all the way to the yoga mat. We press into the feet to come up 1 vertebrae at a time. No hurry here. Take it slow. Feel the way the spine articulates. The tailbone scoops in nice and long. And it's eventually the skull stacking over the hips. Lean both arms forward, both arms up to the sky. Inhale. And then taking your hands down to heart space. Exhale. Take a subtle turn out of your toes. Then begin to take a subtle push of your knees out. The knees become soft. We're going to start to slowly lower our hips for a count of 3. We're not going to go all the way down there, don't worry. 2. 1, coming to about 90 degrees. Then rising for a count of 3. 2, pressing into the feet, coming back to stand. 1. So we go back to 90 degrees. 3. 2. 1. Then rising. 3. 2. 1. You can take your arms up or out if you prefer. 3. This is the last time. 90 degrees. Then slow. 3. All the way to stand. 2. 1. Take the arms up to the sky. Take a nice big stretch. Take your toes back forward as you fold. Bend your knees. Slide your thighs and belly to connect. Nice and slow. Take a halfway lift. Inhale. Then go ahead and take your hands to the ground, stepping back with your left foot. Stepping back with your right foot and arriving in a plank position, top of a push-up. Rolling the biceps forward, taking the chin toward the front of the mat, take a breath. And then drop your knees gently to the ground. Bring your big toes to touch. Take your bum all the way back onto your heels, child's pose, Balasana. Take a big breath in, child's pose. And then releasing, surrendering. Take your gaze up to your thumbs. Now guys, the elbows are going to point in the backward direction. I want you to slide your chin and chest all the way down to the ground. Then roll your hips onto the floor slow. Bring your hands beside your rib cage, elbows cable tight. Maybe it's a cable tie, not a bungee cord. Lift the chest up to the sky. Take a deep breath in. Then slowly roll all the way down. We'll do 2 more cobras. It's up to you how high you want to go, but keep those glutes active. The big toes pressing into the ground. Just moving with the breath. There's no hurry. You come back to child's pose after your back bends. Slow transitions. In your child's pose, go ahead and take just 2 more deep breaths. Start to lift the chest back up. Bring the knees in a little closer. So your knees are together, your knees are under your belly button. Then curl the toes underneath. We take the bum back onto the heels for Seiza, our toe squat. Reach down and grab the pinky toes and just give them a little adjust so they're back on the ground. And pull the tailbone long so the back of the body is quite neutral. Now, if this is too much, you could always lean your body forward 45 degrees. You can even keep your hands on the ground for a little bit of extra support. If you want to, you'll keep your tailbone tucking. You might even take your hands behind you today and lean into the hands. It's just a variation of. Nice big breath here. Less resistance. Keep the core engaged. We all come back up. Remember, you take your hands out in front of you. Point the toes. Sit the bum back onto the heels. Take the hands into prayer, interlock the fingers. Push the hands all the way forward. Engage the belly, come up onto the knees. And this time we're going to lean over to our right side. And then step the left foot out to the side. Toes pointed to the front of the yoga mat. Take your left hand onto the left thigh, reach your right arm to the sky. Now pull the tailbone long, take a stretch up. And then move into gate pose, stretching lateral flexion. Remember, wherever your chin, your gaze goes, it does change the experience in the neck, so whatever it's good for you. One more breath as you reach. Slow motion, come back up through the center. Take your left arm to the sky, inhale, pull the tailbone long. And then let's lean over to the right side, right hand comes onto the ground. Finger pads or flat palm, or even knuckles, whatever's good. It can feel really nice just to be here. If you do want to take a little deeper, the left foot comes on to the bottom, and we reach down for the left foot with the left hand. We kick and pull if we're taking that option. It's quite active. You guys just breathe 3 times. Whether you have your foot or not, I want you to scoop your belly in tight and start to bring your left knee into your belly button, your head toward your knee. Now your spine in flexion. Look to the front of the mat. That's where we're going to step our left foot, heel, ball, toes. Take the arms forward and up, Anjaneyasana, low lunge. Awesome, guys. Take a breath. Now take your right outer hand onto your left outer knee. Push knee into hand, look under the left armpit. Feeling bone to bone, muscle to muscle. Take a breath in at the top. And then stretch your left hand to the right. Look where you need to look for balance. Try not to collapse your left knee. Keep it pressing out. We slowly come back through center, left arm above the skull. Then take your left hand back behind you in a big circle, grabbing a hold of that right butt cheek. And take your right arm to the sky, exalt, stretch up above the skull. Ground down into the left foot strong. Inhale. Slow motion, reach the right arm forward, forward, forward until you meet the ground with the hand. Curl the right toes under, lift the right knee, then lift your bum a little higher. Twist your chest, your thoracic, then lift up your left arm. Twisted dragonfly. We have this tendency in this pose, I'm very guilty of it too, that we tend to collapse into our right side. See if you can bring the weight deep into that left foot evenly from outer edge to inner edge to help your hips get a little bit more neutral. Focusing the twist in the spine rather than the pelvic bowl. When we drop our right knee back to the ground, I want you to take it a little bit longer back than it was before. So no longer it's under the hip, it's 45 degrees. Then let the hips get heavy. Left arm to the back of the house. Pick up your back foot, grab the pinky toe edge or grab your strap for a little bit of support. The twist deepens here. We start to roll the right shoulder toward that left knee. Our chest lifts to the sky. So we're not dumping to the ground, but we're coming up and over. Kick the foot into the hand. 2 deep breaths. And then as we gently let the right foot go, bring the left arm in a big circle up and over, taking the left hand to the inner left foot, all the way to the same plane as the left foot, both hands flat. Take your left foot once over to the left, so now it's a little wider. Lift up the back knee. Lift your bum a little higher for support. As you lean your chest forward, step the back within 10 centimeters. And it's a wide-legged pyramid. I want you to tuck that left hip under. Push into both heels, push into both balls of the feet, then drop your skull. Remember, take anything you need to under your hands here for extra support. What's going to be the most supportive for our spine is that pull in of the belly, that wrapping of the waist. Oh, this pose is just like breakfast to me. Ritual. Keeping the body really open. We focus on the back chain, the posterior. Making everything easier. The way we move, the way we breathe. Take a halfway lift, inhale, belly in. Slowly, slowly fold in. Take it halfway, inhale. And fold in, exhale. Halfway lift. Walk your hands a little closer forward. Now lean into the hands. Step your right foot wide. Keep the toes parallel. Bend the knees softly. Grab the elbows, fold. And keeping the weight in the outer edges of feet, but press down into the 2 big toes, nice and even. One more breath. And relax your arms. It's one vertebrae at a time. How slow can you go? The tailbone pulling down, the sternum reaching high. At the top, it might feel good to give the shoulders a release. Helping you to sit a little prouder in the chest. We'll take our arms all the way forward and up. So the shoulders elevate to your ears. And bring the hands together down to heart space. And take your toes to point out. And take a deep breath in at the top. And we start to go down 3. Back to 90 degrees, 2. 1. This time we're going to hold for 3. Knees are pushing out, 2. 1, we rise, 3. 2. All the way up. Squeeze at the top. Down, 3. 2. 1, we hold for 5. 4. 2. We rise for 3. 2. 1. Squeeze at the top. Take a big breath in. We're going to go back down one more time. 3. 2. Keep pushing the knees out. Arrive at 90 degrees. We hold for 8. 7. Keep breathing. We're halfway there. 4. 3. 2. 1. We rise. 3. Nice and slow. 2. 1. Squeeze at the top. Arms lift to the sky. Take a big breath in. Turn the toes parallel as you fold. Bend the knees. Take the belly back onto the thighs. Hands to the toes. And take a halfway lift. Inhale. Take a forward fold. Exhale. Bring your feet to touch or slightly apart under the hips. We take a halfway lift. This time, hands onto shins. Pull the outer hips in. And then exhale, forward fold. Take your arms forward and up to the sky. Stretch up, tailbone long. Now take your arms in a big circle wide, swan diving forward, bending at the knees, hinging from the hips. Take a halfway lift, hands onto shins. Inhale. And then fold, exhale. Again, arms forward and up, stretch up, long spine. Arms go wide, swan dive all the way back down, hinge forward. Let's do that one more time, team. Halfway lift in. Forward fold, out. Arms forward and up, in. Big circle, swan dive, half. At the bottom, let the head hang, let the arms hang. And slowly we take our hands to the ground. We're going to take our right knee back down. We'll take our left knee back down. And then child's pose, slide back. And keeping the spine nice and long. Drop your hips heavy. Begin to lift your gaze to the thumbs. Just like we practiced before, stay nice and low, bend the elbows back, bring your chin and chest down onto the ground. Then slide your hips all the way onto the yoga mat. Bring your hands beside the ribs, elbows point to the back as we lift up into cobra or baby cobra. Inhale. And taking your time to make it onto the ground, exhale. We'll take our hands a little bit wider this time, coming next to the yoga mat. Just stay on flat palms for a moment, pull the elbows in, then lift up with a squeeze of the glutes, taking a wide cobra, and then rolling back onto the ground. You might like to come onto your finger pads for the third round. It helps you just get a little bit more height and space between the arms, the chest. Before rolling in slow motion all the way back onto your mat. And take one more. This time, just go halfway of your range. Then I want you to slide your elbows under your shoulders. And then take your forearms onto the mat, coming into Sphinx. So our elbows and shoulders are stacked. If for some reason this feels too deep on your low back, rather than taking your arm back, you can take your arm a little further forward and notice how that softens your back a little closer into the ground. Otherwise, we keep the joint stacking. It really helps the muscle to relieve a little bit. And we use our skeleton instead. The shoulders become heavy in the back. And if you need your pillow under your ribs or your pillow, your bolster under your elbows, you can grab it now. Another option is to take the feet just a little bit wider. I quite like that on my low back. It might not be for everybody. You stay curious. Narrow or wide legs. The third option is to bring your feet up toward your bum. It's like a Bhujanasana. And then here, guys, we're going to hold for about 1 minute, more of a restorative pace. You can close your eyes. You can even catch your chin with your hands if you need to. And we're going to breathe. Steady breath. The path of least resistance. And taking 3 deep breaths. Let the belly expand. If you have your feet toward your bottom, just gently lower one at a time back onto the ground. If the feet are wide, let's bring the feet back narrow. I want you to take your left hand onto the ground to the left top corner of the mat. And then just press into the left hand so your left elbow lifts. Take your right arm under your left arm as much as you can so your right palm is facing the sky. Now you're going to roll your right shoulder down onto the ground and start to bend your left knee up toward the left arm. So the left knee stays on the ground though. From here, take the head onto the floor, then reach your left arm up to the sky. Pull the right side under a little closer to the left, then take your left arm out beside you. So now you're taking a spinal twist. Now you could stay here. The other option is to now straighten out the top leg and grab a hold of the top foot with your right hand, if that feels okay for you. Just an option. Because it is a twist, there's this feeling of the left shoulder pulling in toward the ground, the chest facing up to the sky. Two deep breaths. You have your left foot, let it go, rebend the left knee. Take your left arm up to the sky above your gaze. Then take your left hand all the way down to meet your right hand, palms touch. Your gaze is over to your thumbs. Once you start to press into the right elbow, bringing the palms to touch the left elbow to point to the sky, then lift up your chest. Rolling all the way around left leg to meet right leg, coming back to Sphinx, press into the elbows. Holding just for 3 breaths this time. One more breath. Take your right hand to the right top corner of the mat. Begin to lift the right elbow. Now we slide our left arm over so the palm faces up. And then I want you to bring your left shoulder onto the ground. Begin to bend your right knee up to the left arm. And then as you drop your head to the ground, right arm to the sky. Right arm all the way up. Coming into spinal twist. You might like to be just here. This is good. You want to add something more. You'll grab the right foot with the left hand. And the shoulders melt into the ground. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere, let that tension go. A feeling of surrendering into the shape, into the body. And one final breath. As we start with letting the foot go, rebending the top knee. Right arm reaches back up to the roof. Then all the way, crossing the hand to the left hand, pressing palm to touch, right elbow bends up. Now press into the elbow to lift the chest to come back to your Sphinx. Elbows under the shoulders, spine back to neutral. I'm just feeling how the low back is responding. No activation of the glutes, we're just softening the belly into the ground, softening the ribs. And then I want you to take your hands to stack one on top of the other, elbows go wide, and then roll your chest to the mat and take either your temple or your forehead, if it's okay, your chin to the top hand into crocodile pose. Now as you arrive in crocodile, if you think you might be a bit more comfy by relaxing your arms beside your body instead, you might like to take that option. And then just close down your eyes. Let your whole back, your whole spine, your whole body become really relaxed. Free from tension, free from effort. And if it's your temple on the top hand, just swap, keeping the neck balanced. Keeping your attention on the breath. Every exhale guiding you deeper into surrender, into softness, relaxation. 2 rounds of breath here. In super slow motion, take your hands beside you to push back into child's pose, Balasana, taking your bum onto your feet, your belly connecting back to your thighs. Whether you stay here or come into puppy, lifting the hips over the knees, and then taking the chest into the ground. Either option, 3 breaths. And we're all going to make our way into our table position, our all fours. Take your time. As your hands could be flat to the ground, so I'll give you those options again, finger pads or knuckles. I'm going to take 3 rounds of cat-cow, moving as slow as you can to extend the spine, and to flex the spine. We'll linger in our cat pose once we arrive there, holding for 3. Chin to chest, shoulders elevated. And then coming into neutral. Bringing your knees a little closer in. You can cross your ankles and then take your bottom back behind the feet onto the ground. Bring your knees toward your chest and then just extend your legs out in front of you, nice and long. Pull the flesh of your tailbone out from underneath you, so you just feel like you're right on the very front of your pelvic bowl. Now, if you want to, you might take your pillow or your bolster under the knees or on top of the legs. We're just going to take a really gentle forward fold, more of a yin variation where we're just folding in rather than extending forward. We call this caterpillar. Just folding in toward yourself, closing your eyes, letting the tailbone drop deep into the floor. There's a soft bend in the knees. And focus on the breath, the way it draws into the body from the bottom of the spine to the top. In that journey all the way back down. And 2 more breaths. As you start to gently lift up, keep the core engaged. Just come to a neutral spine with your skull right up over the pelvic bowl. The knees stay bent. I'm just going to gently take our right hand over to the left, walk your left hand behind you. Look over the left shoulder. Come back through the center. Let's take our hands over to the right hand behind, look over the right shoulder. Come back through the center. Now, if you didn't before and you want to now, grab your bolster or your pillow or your cushions, whatever you've got, even if it's blocks or books, take them under your knees. Whatever you're placing under your knees, we want to feel like there is this bend of the knees, but we don't have to hold it. So the props are there to support it. With our knees in this shape, it allows our low back to have more of a release. And we do begin to slide the tailbone long and come down onto our backs. So whatever you've got to place under the knees, we get creative. Now once your head hits the back of the mat gently, take a subtle tuck of your chin so the cervical spine is neutral. And I just want you to press your heels into the ground, lift your bum off the ground, and then see if you can pull the hip bones up to the sky. And then bring the hips back to the ground, relax the legs. Feeling a little bit of extra length in the spine. Take your hands back onto your belly or your chest or your diaphragm. And then close down your eyes, soften your shoulders into the ground. Take a big breath in, feel the belly swell. Hold the breath. And then breathe out of your mouth. Engage the pelvic floor. Hold 3, 2, 1. Relax. Inhale, swell. Hold. Breathe out of your mouth. Engage the pelvic floor. Hold 3, 2, 1. Relax, inhale, swell. Hold. Breathe out. Engage the pelvic floor, squeeze. 3. Like you're holding onto a pencil. 2, 1. Relax, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Engage the pelvic floor, hold, squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Relax, inhale. Hold. Exhale. Activate pelvic floor. Hold that pencil, 3. Keep squeezing, 2, 1. Relax. Take an easy breath in. Take an easy breath out. 2 more times. And then just let go of any control of breath. Let your arms relax beside your body, palms face to the sky. Not changing the breath, not changing a thing. Letting everything be as it is. Lying in your Shavasana for as long as you need, perhaps even till the end of the song that you're listening to, or at least 5 breaths. And when you rise today, may you rise nice and slowly. Namaste.